There was nothing I could say. I knew at this point I was shaking. I knew I was in danger. Like I needed to get out.
Like,
if you're the divine religion on the planet Earth,
the only truth on Earth,
why wasn't Jehovah instructing them before everybody else? They're handicapped in the sense they don't know how to love.
Yeah.
So it kind of removed the anger that I felt towards them, more of just a sadness. Like they're unable to, they're handicapped. This is Bre.
This is Yannick.
And welcome to the Look at Us Now podcast.
And they said it wouldn't last.
Episode 9, Lovers in a Pandemic. Oh my gosh,
this
guys.
This is going to be a short episode, just, 2
we
weeks
always
to flatten
say
the
that.
curve.
Oh.
No worries. It'll be over before you know it. You just got to give the medical personnel some time to catch up, and that's all. That's all. We'll be right back to, normal life. No worries. It'll be super quick. You won't even know. Be like a blip.
5 years later. Oh my gosh.
5 years later, here we are.
I know. Whatever platform you guys are here from, thank you for joining us. It would mean the world if you were to subscribe or leave a review or give a comment, whatever you can do to help really support our channel.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support. We appreciate everybody's overwhelming contributions, whether it is subscribing, commenting. Just thank you for being here. It's been a wonderful journey, and we're happy that you're here with us.
Yes. So let's get into today's episode. We left you on kind of a cliffhanger last episode, and we'll get into that. But I mean, stating the obvious, in the pandemic.
That's why we're in pajamas.
Yeah, I thought it was fitting. I was like, let's just dress up in pajamas. We also missed the pajama episode because of Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
So we're making it the 9th episode.
And this is a cozy pajama night.
I know, it's really
nice
really
flannels.
cozy.
I love it.
I love that we're matching.
Yeah.
Usually I don't care for that. But
got the whole family in the same flannels. It's so cute.
I know. I think it's really
disgustingly cute. I love it.
It was our first partnership with Old Navy too.
Old Navy, yeah.
Anyway, let's start off. Rating the hardest years of marriage. Go.
Oh my God. Definitely the beginning. I'd say
so year
1 and 1 and 2. I
think so.
Definitely hardest.
1 and 2 are the hardest.
Yeah.
And then what would you say was like the best years of marriage? Like when things, I guess not best years of marriage because,
Every year with you is the best year of marriage.
Don't lie now.
It's every year. Because 1 and 2 is hard, but it had, plenty of perks.
Yeah, it did. But I feel like across the board, when I talk to other couples and like just hearing people's opinions about marriage, and I feel like year 1 and 2 is like the hardest. So like you can get through 1 and 2, you're going to do pretty okay.
You're right as rain.
I feel like that, but everyone's different.
Yeah.
That worked well for us. 1 and 2 was just the hardest to get through. I think it's just like figuring out how to mesh together.
I think if you deal with difficult things that, in year 1 and 2, then that sets you up for, success later. But if you kind of put them off, then those things that you didn't deal with on year 1 and 2, they can pop up in year 10 and, be a lot uglier and a lot bigger.
That's
so
true.
I think that's why year 1 and 2 were so difficult for us, because we had to deal with so many big things and we had to tackle them head on.
Things really started looking up at around 3, 4.
I'd say 3, 4, and man, 5, we were really hitting our stride. I felt like 5 was...
The moment we hit year 5, like it was a very distinct difference.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was just like...
It was like, I understand you.
Yeah, like this.
It was great.
I don't know.
It's kind of funny because year 5, we were also... That's also in the middle of the pandemic. So,
yeah, that's ironic. Yeah, ironically, it was the best year.
But I think that's kind of how it went for a lot of people. It had its difficulties, but it gave couples time to focus on each other in a way that they had not been able to before.
And it also gave couples the time to be able to see if they were truly compatible too, because I think a lot of people learned a lot of different things. Some people were stronger, other people grew apart just based on the time I think we all had to be able to just be.
That they realized they actually weren't for each other.
Yeah.
They were just stuck on a hamster wheel, and they didn't have time to actually consider that.
Yeah, as horrible as COVID was and just everything that was happening in the world at the time, I think it was also very peaceful for a lot of people. Maybe not peaceful, but very...
Healing.
Yes. It was very healing for
I think
so many
maybe
people.
therapeutic. Like you had to go through a lot of, whether it was you personally did it or you went through with some professional help. A lot of people went through some serious therapy.
Yeah, therapy, healing, and it made you slow down for sure. And it made everybody in the world, I think, slow down and really reflect and take a look at what their life was, what they wanted, what is life, because it totally like took us all by surprise. And it was very, whew. I think a lot of people still have like a traumatic response from it.
Yeah, because when we think about it, and this is something that I'd love to hear comments from everyone in the audience. If you have the time, when your kids or your grandkids, when they get to an age where they're going to be asking you, like, hey, you were in the pandemic, like this COVID-19 thing that we read about in schools, how was it? How would you even describe it? What would you even say? I don't know. It's kind of a crazy
It's a really
thing.
good question. It is. I think about that constantly when I think about Sebastian and Sabrina, like when they get of age and like asking like what it was about.
Do you make a big deal of it, or you're just kind of like nonchalant, like, oh,
yeah, what do you do?
We saw things,
saw
I don't know.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah.
But this is how it was for us. So it took us about 3 years of our marriage to actually get our debt completely paid off.
Yep.
And that was just done by working late nights, weekends.
Yep.
We did nothing. Like we didn't go out. We didn't eat out. It was really hard. It was a really hard time, I think. And that's also what made, I think, the first few years of marriage really difficult because like
the financial
we were like,
burden of not being able to enjoy each other's company without that pressing, ominous, like, we don't have the money for this.
Yeah, we don't have the money. And it was just like constantly working. And I just remember like our weekends would be just us. If we weren't working that weekend, we'd just be sleeping because we were just so tired. Every single moment was just work.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll be taking you to my job sites to help, like you be holding crown molding up
I know.
on the other ladder.
I know.
And so that I could get this, get some projects done quicker and hopefully be with you before I have to be ready for the next theocratic thing.
I know.
The next day.
So that was not fun, but we did it. And we were so proud that we were able to get through that financial hardship. I think, paying off debt together is something else. It definitely feels really...
Teamwork.
Really good.
It makes the dream work.
It makes the dream work.
That's right, baby.
So we paid off our debts, and then we very quickly, because we didn't have that money going towards debt, were able to save up for a house, to buy a house. So we didn't actually purchase the house until year 4 of our marriage. And in between that time, we got a dog right before we bought the house because it was a new construction build. So it was going to take time to build it. And so we bought the house and then waited for construction, and we got our Theo dog.
Yeah.
Our first dog.
That was great because I was thinking when you came to me saying, hey, there are these adorable husky puppies that like we can rescue one of them from this terrible condition. And I said, if I go and look at these dogs, I'm gonna come home with one because they're just so abominably cute. I can't stand how cute they are, and that's exactly what happened.
Husky puppies. Yeah, we got our Theo boy. He was oh my God, he was so sick, guys. When we first got him, he had
belly full of hookworms.
Oh gosh, his belly was like fully distended. It was so gross. We had no idea. Well, we kind of had some idea because of the conditions that he was in, and he was a rescue. So that was our first child.
I became a dog father. You became a dog mom.
Yeah. And we felt like we could do it because we finally like got out of debt, and we were like, okay, now like we can
take on the responsibility of another creature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like practice.
It felt okay.
It's not quite practice, but it was something. Yeah.
In hindsight, it was the best thing that we could have ever done because it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
And like, it would have been so lonely, like without him.
To have Theo there during COVID was amazing.
I know. It was
the
like
best
the
boy.
perfect timing.
Yeah.
So we started building our house and got our baby dog. And I forgot to mention like all the time leading up to before we bought our house, we went I went through like several different job changes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm crazy. I started my own spa. Well, before that, I worked at a plastic surgeon's office. I started my own little like boutique spa. I started waitressing. Like I worked with my parents. That's a side quest, another side quest. Then I started working at another doctor's office as a medical esthetician. Like I was working like just really crazy. Like, how do I say this? My workflow was really interesting.
Yeah.
It was like a crazy person, I feel like.
Well,
anyway, anything to make the money. We wanted to make that money. But I'm bringing that up because at this time we were in COVID and I wasn't able to work at my aesthetic job. I lost my job at the doctor's office because nobody wanted to come in for facials during peak COVID, obviously. So I wasn't able to continue working there. And I decided to go ahead and open up my social media again because based on last episode, we told you guys I privated my Instagram, I privated my YouTube. Everything was private. Nobody could access it. And I only went down to like 100 followers on my Instagram account. So I was just
you're like, I'm done.
I was
I'm
dark.
Done.
I was
out.
done.
I'm out of here.
Exactly. I was totally over it. You guys, if you listened to the last episode, you know why.
But the love bug came right back and bit you, and you're back.
Because the content creation, like making videos, like it just makes me happy.
I loved coming home from work and just like seeing the light on in the studio and like peeking my head and be like, "Hi, are you filming?" You're like, "I'm filming." Like, yeah, go Bre, keep it up.
Yeah. It's my true passion. I like filming. I like editing. I like just the whole art of it. And when COVID happened, it gave me the perfect excuse to go back. Getting back into social media was so fun. And it was kind of like I got like a free pass, especially in the religion, because nobody could really like.
They couldn't monitor in a way because like you were.
We weren't going to in-person meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were going to say anything, like
you have to call someone out over Zoom.
And everyone was dealing with their own stuff. Like it was just so
very distracted with their own stuff.
And I took advantage of that because I was like, I'm going to get back in there. No, but I had so much fun and it was a perfect time to start. So we got on TikTok because TikTok was starting to get big. Yeah. Got on TikTok. We started blowing up there because we do like little couple like dances and cringe things.
And we should have kept that up, but I was like,
I know.
It's going to look bad in the congregation if I'm doing all these videos.
Yeah, how can I be taken seriously?
Yeah, I need to be taken seriously when I'm giving my public sermons. And I was like, it was cute. I was just cute. Totally, I was such a dork.
No, you weren't a dork. You were just trying to like
I was trying to full ass the whole like
good image and like it really wasn't something that is looked well upon in the congregation. You can't be taken seriously as an elder if you're doing stuff like that. And even that's why I'm like people that are Jehovah's Witnesses now or men that are out, on social media now, it does hinder your ability. I know that it does to be able to serve in the fullest capacity in the congregations.
I got talked to a lot about that. So yeah, it does.
So that was a fun time. It was really interesting how fast we grew our community based on like the funniest things that we were doing.
It was cool.
It was really cool though. And I think it helped with like the loneliness of COVID too, because it was a very isolating time. And once we got our house, it was finally built and we moved in. It was like we were on a little island. We weren't around anybody. Oh, and then my parents. Oh.
La última.
Jeez.
Say it ain't so.
So you guys, we had talked about like us trying to rebuild our relationship after years. And in our entire first couple years of marriage, that's what we did constantly with my family. We spent a lot of time with them. I spent a lot of time with my sister, who's 3 years younger than me. We did a lot of different things together, including going out in the ministry a lot together. So we were always spending time. I think at one point we were going over their house like 2 times a week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily to hang out with my parents per se. It was more so to hang out with my siblings, again, that we were really close to. And I just love being a part of their life. And they were like the perfect age to like play with you. And like, it was so cool
hanging out with them. I mean, like, Let's go over and like play video games.
Play video games, free food.
It was so fun. Like play video games with like those cool kids. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a good vibe. And that's the thing with abusive relationships. It's so unfortunate because you will have really amazing and beautiful moments with those people. And then in contrast, like you'll also have really terrible moments with them. It's really hard, I think, with the mind, how that works. And it's sad because that's the allure, I think, of an abusive relationship is that you have really you have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And that contrast is, it's so
Like
intoxicating.
you're always waiting for the shoe to drop, but before it does, you're like in this euphoric, like maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Maybe things will be this good forever.
Yeah. So obviously the physical abuse for me had stopped because I was married now, and I was never alone with my parents very often, except for when I started working for them. I don't even want to go into all of that. Okay. Because it's just too much. It's just too much.
That could be a whole episode
In itself. Yeah. But yeah, I did work for them because they own their own business. I worked for them. Drama was there, of course. There was still a lot of emotional abuse and manipulation that constantly went on. But again, I was used to it. So it was just a different form now that I was married. It had just like, it was almost like it had Pokemon, what do you call
Evolved?
it? Evolved.
Mega evolution.
It had evolved. It was really interesting. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, it was a lot more subtle, but it was still very much so there. And it was just what it was. Like it was, I can't really complain about it. It just, that's how it was. And I had great times.
Super annoying on my end that I was just like, things are really good, but I knew that every once in a while, like, okay, how many months has it been? When is the next stupid blow up going to happen? And when is it going to destroy the peace in my household?
Yeah.
Because that's just how things were.
Mm-hmm. It was very, very toxic. And it was really hard too, because like my siblings had nothing to do with it half the time. And so it was really difficult, I think, for them to just go the back and forth. And they were always used as like pawns too, because if I wasn't on good terms with my mom or dad, I couldn't have anything to do with my siblings.
That relationship was held hostage. Yeah.
So that was like so hard. But anyway, I think the precipice of everything happened in 2020 when my mom had asked for me, or she bought a trip. My mom had bought a trip for me and my sister to have like a girls' trip to New York City. And
I was so excited for that. I was like, this is going to be the turnaround. Like they're going to have like a girl. They've never had a girls' vacation. Yeah. This is going to be some serious bonding. We're going to deal with some issues and like actually they're going to have fun together. And I was so excited for you to go.
I know. I was so excited too. And I guess for the audience to know, like we still had never really talked about the wedding, them not going. We would have arguments when things would go really bad in those years, but my mom never, or my dad, I never formally apologized. Like nothing was ever said about it. It was almost like it never happened. And if ever it was brought up, it was just like, well, that was the consequence of what you guys decided to do. So there was still a lot of hurt there, but I felt like I moved past it. At this point, we were 4 years past it.
Yeah.
And I felt,
I'd moved on from that.
I moved on.
Expecting the next stupid thing to happen.
Yeah. So on this trip, I get really emotional talking about it. And oh my God, I didn't realize how still it affects me. It changed my entire life. Like this one trip changed everything for me, because up until this point, I hadn't realized I was in an abusive relationship. And it took a series of events at that trip that culminated into the final day where, gosh, I don't want to get into like too many details because I feel like I'm always just like trauma dumping on you guys.
Yeah, you can just like kind of briefly summarize that. It
was a really intense argument. Can I even call it an argument? It was a very abusive lashing out. It was like all of the hate and the anger and all the emotion that was held from my wedding that came out all in that moment.
From everyone.
From my sister, from my mom. And it was like an attack. And so much so, my sister had to hold my mom back from me, from hurting me. And during this heated argument, I was trying to exit because I knew that like there was nothing I could say. I knew at this point I was shaking. I knew I was in danger. Like I needed to get out. And I just was apologizing profusely as I was like backing my way out. Luckily, we had a flight that like morning so I could like leave and get on the flight. And she was asking me to pay for my share of the trip, the hotel stay, the flight and everything, because she had paid for everything. And I was like, I don't have the money for this. Like, I didn't choose this hotel to stay in or whatever. But I didn't say that. I was just like, okay, but I thought this was a gift. And she's like, why would you think that this was a gift? And I said, well, you told me that it was. And, you know, you're my mom. Like, I'm confused. And she was like, I'm not your mother. And I was like,
what?
And then she listed each names of my siblings. She's like, I am this person, this person's mother, but I am not your mother. And she just looked at me with these just eyes. And I knew, no, it sounds crazy, but it was almost like symbolic. I don't know. What she said or what she meant is what I've always felt in my life, that she was never truly my mother. And from that moment, I lost my mom.
Yeah.
The mom that I had cared about when I was a kid.
I saw you come back from that trip completely changed. And I saw you grieve for what looked like the death of your mother for an entire year.
Yeah. Because once she said that, I think it gave me permission to know that this is not how a mother treats a daughter. This is wrong. And she's never been a mother to me. And I was fighting within myself that thought for so many years, but I needed like her permission to understand like that's what she felt too. And that changed everything. It changed everything. And I literally count that as the day that I lost my mom. Gosh, my heart goes out to people that have had troubling relationships with their parents, because when you go through something like that, it definitely does feel like a death. Now, I can't say, I don't know how that actually feels. Thank you. I don't know what death feels like, obviously, losing an actual person. I don't know what the death of my real mother would feel like, but I felt like that was pretty damn close, because everything that I knew of her was gone.
Yeah.
The person that was standing in front of me was just, my perception of who she was completely changed. And
it was always interesting to me how you described her look, like her eyes, and that seems especially crushing. To see that in your mother, to see that malevolence towards you.
Someone that's supposed to be there for you, to love you, to protect you, to help you through life. And that's not what I got.
Yeah.
And I guess being an adult and standing in front of her and you know, her taunting me to hit her and you know, get in all up in my face, which I would never hit my mom and I never have. But like just that childish display of aggression towards me opened my eyes, and I could finally see clearly, like, this brought me right back to when I was a child. This is the same stuff that I dealt with when I was a child. I'm dealing with it right now as an adult. Nothing has changed. This is wrong.
Yeah.
I said, what is this? I need to understand what this is, because this is not normal. This is disgusting behavior. This is something that I cannot accept for myself. And then that's what got me to actually get therapy.
Oh, yeah.
It was the final thing that made me actually say something is not right. This was actually this was literally like 2 weeks before COVID started, by the way. So I went through that and then immediately went to therapy. You were all on board. You knew exactly, like, you were like, this is abuse. You brought up Watchtower articles from the Watchtower.
Pretty wild, because some articles that I highlighted, because everything that, you know, we had to, all the information that we had to come up with to help us with anything had to be from
the Watchtower.
Yeah, from the Watchtower. And so when I brought up those articles that went into what abuse is, and I left them with you, I was like, I think this is what we're dealing with.
And I didn't want to believe it, but I knew. And I just was crying reading it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything that I've dealt with ever since I was a kid. Every single thing that's on this is what I've dealt with. And that was from the Watchtower.
Yeah.
And then I went into therapy, and it was such a healing process for me. And I was left with two options, that I could either pursue the relationship and further hurt myself, or I could exit the relationship and not put myself in that position again.
Wow. What a choice.
Yeah. And so I was sad because this meant that I would have to lose the friendship and the association with my siblings. But I also was being taught, and learning so much about human psychology and just how the mind works and how abuse can really affect a person, that I knew that I needed to not even distance, I needed to cut it. Because that was the one thing that the therapist had told me, cut the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for anybody in an abusive relationship. There's no such thing as, keeping a distance. No, you need to cut it. If you have an abusive relationship and someone is abusive towards you, you need to cut that relationship, because they're not going to change. And that, I think, was the thing I held on to. And I still held on to it years after this, even still, that maybe, just maybe, they're going to change. But that's not how their brain works. And I think the best illustration of what I learned about my family, my parents specifically, from their abuse, is they're handicapped. They're handicapped people. They're handicapped in the sense is they don't know how to love.
Yeah.
So it kind of removed the anger that I felt towards them, more of just the sadness. Like, they're unable to. They're handicapped.
Yeah.
They can't. So
they don't really know what they're doing. They don't really know the
they don't
consequences.
really get
They
it.
don't understand.
Yeah. No matter how, I tell them or how this is, they can't. They're unable to. You can either choose to deal with that and work through that with them, or you can choose to separate yourself, which I think was the best thing that I did, because that clarity allowed me to actually heal as a person and to understand myself in a different way, to treat you better, to be a better wife, to be a better human, because I wasn't constantly in this state of fight or flight in a relationship anymore. And even though it wasn't physical, intense physical abuse anymore, it still was abuse, and it was manipulation. And because of that, I was able to, because I cut that out, I was able to move forward finally in my life. And that's the crazy thing about it all, is that not only did I face the isolation from COVID in general, but I faced that grieving period for my family that whole year. Yeah, at the same time. So, and I know a lot of people in COVID that had deaths in their family and crazy things that happened in their lives that had them completely isolated in more than one ways.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And because I was, my job was a necessary occupation, I think was the term.
Yeah.
So you were just at home with Theo dealing
every day
with your loss. And,
you
and
were
your
working
grief.
so much.
Yeah.
You were all the time working from sun up to sundown. You were gone. And I mean, I was grateful because you had a job, and we had just gotten into this new house with a mortgage.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful.
That worked out.
Because I wasn't making any money on social media quite yet. Or I was, but it was very, very small.
You got $100 from this Russian, it's Russian ad. It was great.
Russian ad. I know, $100.
Yeah.
Oh, there's our buddy.
My boy.
We have a new audience member, guys.
Hi, Bubba. If you see us looking over and smiling, we're trying to keep him distracted. Our little boy, he's 6 months old, and he woke up early.
Yes.
So 20 minutes is not a nap, my dude.
No, it's not a nap. So he's just in his bouncer.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get through this episode and see how long it'll take us. But he says hi from the other camera. Say hi.
Just our smiley little guy. Such a happy kid.
The happiest. The happiest. Okay, so isolation, Zoom meetings, Jehovah's Witnesses went through. Sorry, he's so cute. I can't.
Those cheeks.
Hi.
Most Jehovah's Witnesses that we've talked to lately who've left attribute COVID to them waking up, because they say they had a chance to finally slow down, get off the hamster wheel, and think about what is happening in their life. And when they weren't forced to go to all these meetings a week and have these constant indoctrination sessions. They're like, oh, maybe this doesn't make sense. And then maybe this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And, personally, I had a lot of that. I didn't like fully wake up at that time, but
No.
during COVID, I was widening my frame of reference, I think, in a way I'd never done before. I was reading so many books that was helping me understand that, the way of life, the life that we live is not this concrete black and white thing. It's incredibly complex. And for
You had the time for that.
Yeah, I had the time to look into that and read books on history, on, totalitarian regimes, on communism, and, on just a number of things. And that started the path. That started the crumbling in the foundation.
Yes.
For
just the
my
time.
awakening. Yeah, the time.
The time.
It's wild.
Not going, because when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you typically go to a midweek meeting, and then you have service, which is usually on a Saturday, and then you have another meeting on Sunday, and you're just constantly inundated in those meetings, and they're at least 2 hours, an hour and a half long.
Yeah, and it's
in ministry, especially if you're pioneering like we were, you're there every single day of the week, pretty much. We went out in service at least 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah, and because I had public talks, so I had to prepare
And it takes time.
for those talks.
And you have to study for each meeting.
Yeah, study. So it was
It's a lot. Yeah, a lot that goes into it, and
that's by design.
Yeah,
that is by
it's
design.
by design.
It's to keep you busy. Because if you're not busy, you don't have time to sit down and think, does this make sense? Because you might realize it actually doesn't.
Yeah, that's key. Wow, he said that was really well said. But he stole my heart. So it was crazy that when we transitioned to Zoom meetings in the cult, it totally took you out.
Yeah.
Because they are not the same. It was not the same. The same, I think emotional connection that the real meetings had that kept you in the loop.
Yeah.
It was missing on Zoom. And
you didn't feel that. One of the biggest things about Jehovah's Witnesses was the community of it, that the community, holds you in. And when they take away community, and then you start realizing like, well, they took away my community, but what was shocking to me was the fact that our community was in effect ripped away, but I saw all these churches around me that were fighting to keep their community intact, that they were fighting to find a way to still worship together or still do things together.
Yeah.
And I was like,
we just completely stopped.
Yeah, they seem a lot more courageous than we do. Like, shouldn't we be following that example?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It felt like that. It also puzzled me that the preaching work was at a halt. I understood why, because obviously who wants during COVID someone coming up to their door? But
the prophecy.
It was a prophecy in the Jehovah's Witness cult that when the preaching work was to stop, like when the preaching
would be the end.
That would be the end. Like that was the start of the Great Tribulation. And so it was always like something that you would look out for if you were familiar with the teachings and the doctrine, that like when that happened, that was the sign that this was the Great Tribulation and the end was going to come like any day.
And we always thought that, we were always told that the governments would stop the preaching work. But in the end, it wasn't the governments that stopped the preaching work. The governing body was like, you need to stop the preaching work. So we're like, okay.
It was so confusing to me because I was like, is this the Great Tribulation starting? But my cognitive dissonance kind of set in. And I was like, well, I can't question it. It just is what it is.
We need to keep on the watch.
Keep on the watch and like just keep going through it. So.
I remember in the beginning of COVID, I had migraines from the stress of just looking up and seeing hi, buddy. Hi. I just had these migraines of the stress of trying to understand what was happening and trying to, being scared that things were going to go poorly for us, and that, I don't know, that was kind of
it felt hopeless.
Yeah, it did.
It felt hopeless, and it was so weird because we were supposed to be the only true religion. Why did we feel so hopeless and confused as people? Where I think it was very interesting to see how the governing body dealt with this as a whole, because how they handled COVID, it showed such a I want to
a
say,
lack of divine inspiration.
yes, I didn't feel like the only true God was on our side. I felt like we were just following what everybody else was doing. And I was like,
and several steps behind them.
yes,
So it's like
because
when,
we'd get an update and it would be after the CDC came out with this or that. And I'm like, okay, are we following God or are we following the CDC? Like, you guys say you're divine and like, we're the only true religion. Wouldn't Jehovah tell us first what's going on?
yeah.
You would think, because that's what we believed.
We're following Fauci.
Yeah, we were. I mean, and then that's fine that they were, but you can't claim that you're the
feel
only
like
true
there's-
religion.
Yeah.
And then
It should be more. It should be
Yeah.
like something more.
if
Like
you're the divine religion on the planet
the
Earth,
only truth on earth.
why wasn't Jehovah telling you this is what you need to be doing, or the governing body? Why wasn't he instructing them before everybody else?
Yeah.
It started not to make sense there, but we still, we didn't want to question it because that's the last thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
When you're a Jehovah's Witness in the call, you cannot question the governing body.
I think a lot of the decisions that were made, I was starting to realize like, and I was saying this as an excuse. Well, they have to do that because,
Yeah.
they would carry legal liability if they don't. Now, and looking at it now, it's like, okay, yeah, that's true.
Then what makes you different from every other religion?
Every religion and every corporation that tries to shield themselves from legal liability. And I was also looking at the decisions that were made and thinking to myself, these seem to be decisions to protect people in the compound in New York, and then those decisions trickle down to everywhere in the world, whether they fit or not.
Exactly. There were so
and it
many
didn't
different
matter
things
if it
like
fit
that.
or not, because what happened at the compound is for the most important people on earth.
Yeah.
And everyone else has to figure it out and fit the mold.
Yeah. And that reminds me, because that was our goal, to be part of that compound, to apply to it. We still had those dreams, but COVID kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, we can't go anywhere now.
Yeah.
It went full lockdown. So that kind of like stalled that for us. And I think it also made us reevaluate if we really wanted to, because we were like, man, if we were in Bethel right now, we'd be completely locked down and it's miserable up there, because we'd hear like reports and people saying like, it's so bad here and it's just awful and
Can't leave your room.
you can't leave your tiny little room. And I'm like, oof, I don't know. I'm glad that we weren't there.
Yeah.
And then the people that were in SKE, the School for Kingdom Evangelizers, that we also wanted to apply for, they were stuck in their stations or their missionary places anywhere in the world, and without their families, without anything. And so that was really tough for them as well. So we were like, kind of like, oh, good, we were just at the cusp of being able to apply.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. So anyway, I think it was important to talk about that your brother and sister-in-law, they ended up applying for the SKE, School for Kingdom Evangelizers, getting accepted and going through the school, and they got sent on missionary work.
They got assignment.
Right before COVID.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of know like why it was really hard for them. And because they went through that, they were like the tippy top, like inspiration to us. They were like,
They're like residing on Mount Olympus in our hearts.
yeah, in our hearts,
were,
like we were like, we admired them so much, and like I wanted to be just like them, and I was like, we're gonna do just like them. And they were in foreign language too. They were in sign language. We were in Portuguese. So we're like, we're on the path. Like we're gonna be them.
We're following
in a couple
their
years.
great example.
Yeah, they were married 3 years ahead of us. So I was like, okay, in 3 years we'll be just like them. And I remembered like having conversations with your sister-in-law and just being like, oh my gosh, God chose you. Like, I can't believe this. Like, you were like divine. Whatever you do, I want to do.
Yeah.
And then that all came crumbling down pitifully when I received a text message from her after, this was about, I want to say a year into COVID. I think it was like,
No, it
was it a whole year? Was it the summer?
I think this was the summer of COVID.
Summer of 2020. Things started, I don't know if you guys remember, but like things started lightening up a little bit because we thought that like we were, like it was like the end, it was before the second wave. So things were getting better in the summer months. You guys know we were dealing with some hard stuff with my family, me mourning that. And then, it was hard. It was hard for everybody. Yeah. But we had gotten up with your uncle.
Yeah, my uncle had a boat and, him and his family. And Bre and I, we're like, we've all tested, we're all
for
negative,
COVID, yeah.
and let's get up on this boat, just us, and it would be a great time, outdoors, isolated. We thought, what's the harm in that?
And people were at that time were able to go, like, it wasn't like a bad thing to go yet. This wasn't like strict lockdown at this point. You could be with families as long as you tested. It was fine. But I posted a photo, and it wasn't anything crazy, guys. I posted, my account was public on Instagram again, and I posted this photo of me just by myself on the boat. Yeah.
Yo, he's bouncing.
And I was just like looking over the lake, and it was just, I just remember just a little picture, and it was kind of just like, I think it was like part of my weekly gratefuls. Like, I still did that back then in a way. And I posted this picture. I was still keeping up with content and posting things all the time, but this was like my first outdoor picture, and I had that on the lake. And then I got a nasty message from your sister-in-law, who I held in such high esteem, and she was just like reaming on me, like, how could you do this? This is a disgusting display of, how you are as an individual. Like, why would you post this on the boat? Why would you be out with people? Do you know what's happening? This is so
irresponsible and
unsafe and all these things. And she's like, I'm unfollowing you, and I'm telling my family. She didn't say I'm telling my family, but I've, alerted people that this is not something that a Christian should be doing or whatever. I was so like shocked because like she had not messaged me for months to like check in on my situation, like with my family. She had not messaged me and care for anything. Granted, neither did I for her. So there's that. We didn't really have conversations or talk. Yeah. She was just following me. This is the first message that I got from her personally in months since I knew that they were on assignment. I was just so shocked. I was like, I responded back. I was like, why would you just assume that I'm being irresponsible? Like, I tested for COVID. We were with our uncle. Like, what are you talking about? It was under like, well, it was only like 6 people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand where this hate is coming from. And granted, I didn't know at this time they were struggling really bad. So I understand now, like, yeah, that's where that was coming from. But it still was so uncalled for. She not only unfollowed me on social media, but she had all of her family unfollow me too.
Which was wild.
Yeah, because I was like, what? Where did this even come from? Like, this was so out of left field for me. And I'm like, I get that you're offended that I did this, and I'm sorry. And I ended up deleting the photo. But it was just so, to me, like, judgmental. And it didn't, I know that she might have been going through something, but it was completely safe. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't advertising. I'm on a boat with 6 people. I just was on a boat in a photo.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just a reminder of the judgmental culture that, I really didn't like. And it was also a reminder that, like, we were in such a self-reflecting time. We were in a healing time. So it also made me think of, like, reevaluating who I was admiring.
Role models?
Yes. And I was like, well, clearly, even though she was technically chosen, by God to be a part of this program that we wanted to be in, and her husband, your brother as well, they still weren't the people that we wanted to be like. And then it also started making me think, like, all the people that are in these high positions in the Jehovah's Witness culture,
the same.
They're all like this. Yeah. Not all, most of them are like this.
Generalize these things.
I don't want to generalize because that's not the truth. But most people who were up that high had this insanely judgmental view.
It's a very petty sort of worldview.
Because you kind of had to be.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it was I was seeing myself change and morph into something that I hated because I was starting to be judgmental too. If I remember having, a friend that was kind of, gay, and
he was effeminate. He didn't come out as gay.
Right, because you can't in the religion. There's it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No, like it's not good. They say that in the paradise you will be healed of your gayness.
God will fix you of your
you won't feel the way that you do. Anyway, so I had a friend like that, and I completely cut him out because he was just slightly effeminate, and I knew that, and I didn't want to be seen around him because I didn't want his association to look bad upon my reputation. And I remember doing that, and I was like, that was ridiculous. That's not who I am. That's not what I stand for. I'm not a judgmental person by nature. I don't want to be that way. So why am I trying to pursue this status, these positions where I feel like I need to be more petty, more judgmental, because that's how it becomes how everything looks.
That's how to get ahead.
That's how to get ahead. That's how to be on top in that religion. And so I didn't want that for myself. And I know you didn't want that. You were looking at other examples of men and you were like, they just seem, I remember what you were telling me.
Yeah. When somebody was appointed to a certain position and my sister was telling me like, don't worry, you'll get that position soon. And I was thinking to myself like, well, I told her, no, these people, these men, they just look tired.
Yeah.
They don't look happy. They look exhausted. They look ragged, like worn down.
And you're supposed to be the happy people.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
I don't see a man that I see his vibrance shining through as an example of what I would want to be. I didn't see it.
Yeah, that was a hard like pill to swallow.
Yeah.
To like truly understand like, wait a second, like it's not really what we want.
Yeah, I think that was kind of shocking to her, but and it was in a sense maybe a little shocking to me because saying it out loud, I was like, oh yeah, this is actually what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
It's actually not the kind of life that I want to live because it seems
To push it that hard.
yeah, it seems terrible.
Yeah. And it's not that we didn't want anything to do with religion at that point. It just was, we didn't want to push it as hard as we were pushing it. We didn't want to be pioneers anymore. And I also felt like it was very deceptive because while we were pioneers and during COVID, they were like, well, you don't have to get all the hours because of this special situation. And I was like, but what's the point then having the title of being a pioneer if you're not doing letter writing 70 hours a month?
Yeah, everybody
you
could
can
be
go
a pioneer.
down.
It's like syndrome. If everyone's pioneering, no one's pioneering.
No, but I did. I took it seriously because I was just like, well, what's the point? Like, so we get to keep the title, but like, you don't have to write in how many hours you get.
Yeah, and then as you can imagine, everyone started pioneering.
Yeah, then everyone started pioneering.
So
It was
like,
just a
doesn't
weird,
matter, yeah.
it was a weird thing that was happening. You're like, wait, so all the sacrifice that we made prior, it's like, this kind of wasn't really worth it because now like anybody, and then they lowered the hours and then it's like, my panties weren't in a bunch then. Like this was very upsetting to us, I think. But it didn't like make us want to leave. It just was like, I feel like it was very deceptive.
Yeah.
And I didn't like how it felt. Like I felt
I think it
like
just
a fraud.
made us feel like pulling back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we had been full assing our whole lives. And that's right, buddy. Those moments made us feel like, maybe let's hold some back for ourselves and see what will make us the best version of ourselves without this lens of, without all the lenses of and the pressures of the theocratic goals.
Exactly. So we were just like, let's take it a step back. And then it had us reevaluate like our entire life in general, all of it.
Yeah.
And part of that reevaluation was if we wanted to stay in North Carolina because we felt like it was really hard to connect with people there. And you guys know I always wanted to move back to California, but we just never had the financial situation to do so. I wanted to be closer to my Nana because she was like a mom to me, which is contrary to what so many people from North Carolina think that we moved to California for.
Yeah.
For fame and money.
We moved out to the country. I took a construction job.
I know. So moving to California, that was like our big thing. And we were so excited because we were just wanting a new adventure. We wanted something new. We felt like we were just stuck. We weren't able to find people in our community that felt like us. And in the religion, you move to California, you move to Florida or whatever, it's considered like the loose Jehovah's Witnesses. Like they don't follow all the rules. That wasn't necessarily the case where we moved because we didn't move straight to LA. But anyway, that's a story for another time. It was just, we wanted to find people that I think it was just finding people that weren't so connected to our past.
Yeah.
Like, I think most people can relate to that. Moving out of your hometown can be very...
A prophet is not welcome in his hometown.
There you go. Yeah, like moving out of your hometown and going on your own venture and creating new friends that don't have any ties to your families or your past. It's very refreshing. And that's what I think we wanted as a couple. Because now we had hit our stride in our marriage and we were like, let's do something...
Do it for the plot.
We were like, let's do it for the plot. Let's sell everything. And that's what we did. We sold everything. I love the fact that I was going to finally be able to live by my Nana all these years. And I was so, so excited. Oh, that's another thing. Up until COVID, we had been visiting California a lot because of my Nana, and she was there, and we would always go and visit. And we made friends in California too. So we had quite a few friends in Los Angeles that were also Jehovah's Witnesses that were doing really well. Like they all had high positions, and they were always very encouraging to us, which was, again, contrary to the Jehovah's Witness belief that people in Los Angeles could be pioneers and actually encouraging. But we found a great community, and we were like, well, what's keeping us in North Carolina? We found all these new friends. Every single time we'd visit, it was like more friends that we would connect with, and like we really enjoyed their company. We would go out on service together. We'd be out in the ministry, and then we would go party at night, and like it was so fun. It was like a great balance, and I felt like that was the balance that was missing in North Carolina.
I felt like I found my people.
Yes, and we found our people, and that was the biggest thing. And so we were like, California it is. My Nana ended up having surgery one of the times during COVID, and that also was a worry for me because I wanted to be close to her because her health was declining, and I was nervous about, not being close to her. And so I was like, well, if we move, then we'll be able to be close to her and my great-grandmother, who's also not doing so well. And they didn't really have anybody in the family that was around them. They had nobody. None of my grandmother's children were going to be near her. They all lived in North Carolina. And I was just like, I'd be there to help. I wanted to help her and help her to get through all this stuff. So, and you were too. You're like, let's be there for them. Let's make the move happen. And we made it happen. I already told you guys that. We sold everything. We moved out there. We moved to Temecula, which is kind of a country town. In North Carolina, people in LA are like, where do you live? And it's in between LA and San Diego. So it's kind of in between, not really, but anyway, it was a step up from North Carolina for sure, for Raleigh, North Carolina, where we came from, but it still was definitely the country. We loved our congregation there because when we moved to California, we went straight into the Temecula congregation, and we connected with all the people there. I mean, it was still like, it was awkward because they're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, and we're all a little awkward.
We're all a little awkward, yeah. But just it was great. It was great to be able to finally break away from, our hometown and be in some place new and be able to establish ourselves. Yeah, as a new couple. And I already had my career. We already had the social media that it started to grow. So that wasn't even an issue. Nobody cared. Not that nobody cared. It wasn't like, I think because it was established, they couldn't really say anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if they watched it grow, they could have said something, but they didn't. It was already grown.
Yeah.
It was at that point where I was getting money from. We started making money, good money from social media, and things just started growing from there. So that was nice. Nobody said anything. I shared all my gifts with everybody in the congregation.
Yeah,
all
they
the
were
PR,
happy,
they were happy. They were like,
gifts,
this is great. So, and we just didn't talk about it. It just wasn't in conversation. There was a lot of people in the industry that, did what they did, and it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
And, I loved being able to feel the sense of community in those first few years in California. Like we really got to settle into California and have a great community in the Jehovah's Witness cult, which I didn't think was possible. I thought it was, the cult itself, but it wasn't. We found a great community and we thrived. I felt like we really, really hit our true stride in years 5, 6, and 7.
Despite, everything, looking at it now with a completely different lens, it was an amazing time.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
And I loved how we weren't pushing so hard to be pioneers. That I think because we weren't pursuing, higher things in the cult, it alleviated so much pressure, and we could actually just enjoy making friends.
Yeah.
And having more of a balance with work, fun.
Yeah.
And the preaching work and all of it. Like
Oh my God.
Can you guys hear this? I wonder if they can hear it. I don't even know.
I wonder how loud it is. I think they can, but I think it's like in the background.
I don't know.
He's so funny.
He's a funny guy, guys. He's funny. So anyway, it was also a very encouraging moment for us spiritually, which is ironic because the next episode it's going to rock you guys' world because it rocked ours. But this time that we spent in California the first couple years, it was so encouraging to us, and we really felt like we found our people, we found our balance spiritually. We felt really, really good.
We felt so good, in fact, that we decided we should have a family. We should have babies. Yeah. We should extend this love
Yeah, that we felt.
to beautiful babies that we can bring into this world. We felt so good. We felt complete. We felt like we wanted to take the next
and
step.
I was just saying,
Yeah.
contrary to what most people I feel like believed for us when it came to spirituality or being in the cult. We still didn't know we were in a cult, guys.
Yeah.
We still didn't know.
Our congregation loved us. We loved our congregation. We had friends all around. It was things were good.
We were doing well financially. Our business was boom. The side of social media was booming.
Yeah, I
you
was
were
doing
doing well
great,
at your
yeah.
new job. Gosh, I almost wish sometimes we can go back to that moment.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm saying like back even into the cult, because
Yeah.
that was a very special moment.
Once you look behind the curtain,
You can't.
you can't unsee it.
No, yeah. We definitely made our lives a little bit harder on ourselves.
Yeah.
And you'll find all of that out in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for listening in. And again, no matter wherever platform you're from, please make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you
Like it, leave a
like
comment.
it, leave a comment,
And
rate us, give us a rating on
please.
Spotify. If you're on Spotify, it really, really helps us out.
Ring that bell notification
Yeah, ring the bell.
if you're on YouTube.
No, I'm so excited for next episode. This is the climax, guys.
And maybe we won't have such a vivid audience next time.
I know.
I love you, buddy.
He's wanting to let
I
you
love
guys
you.
know. He's wanted to
He's
let
like,
you know.
listen, this is a good story. It really gets juicy.
It does. I mean, guys, this is the climax is upon us. Episode 10 is gonna be wild, and I don't even know how we're gonna get through it, guys. I don't even know how we're gonna get through it, Yannick.
You want to say what it's going to be about? I think it's kind of obvious.
No, yeah, well, yeah. It's been what everybody wants to know. How do we find out we were in a cult? That's the climax.
Yeah.
We'll tell you guys all about that. Thank you so much for watching.
Man, look at us.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
XOXO. Say bye, baby.
Bye. Oh, now you got to be quiet.
Oh, okay.
Now you got to be quiet. Okay, I'm going to get you.